Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the weekly Marquee Show podcast. It's good to be here. Big, exciting week. We're going to get into all kinds of stuff, but I'm happy to say we've got our fellow Chicagoan buddy from TBM Productions joining us. For those of you that don't, you may know him from the Chill Room and that. And, buddy, have you been to Marquee before or no?
Not the Marquee show, but I've always wanted to go, but it's always stuff going on.
Gotcha. Okay. What about are you going out to Vegas next week?
No.
No. Okay. Well, for those of you that are watching and will be in Vegas, I will be there as well. Let me shift my computer there. Marquee has a booth at the Mech Show, just like the Mech Show has a booth at the Marquee Show. So I'm excited to see so many of you. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, we are giving away over $1,200 worth of lights, lighting, some movers, some uplights, some really cool stuff from our good friends at Color Key LED Lights. Davey Dave and those guys are just unbelievable. So if you swing by the booth, you can scan our QR code. You can enter to win right there. We're going to be giving those away, I think, the first week of March. If you're not going, if you go to the Marquee Show group page or on our page, I've got a QR code. You can do that, or you can just go to marqueeshow.com and then you'll see there's a promotion for Color Key. So giving away lots of stuff. Can't miss that. So let's jump into a couple other things. The subject of the week. No, it is not Donald Trump and Eli Musk. It is Kendrick Lamar. So, buddy, did you tune into the halftime show?
Yes, I did. Watched the whole entire game.
Okay. And what was let's say from a mobile DJ perspective? Excited, indifferent, disappointed? What were your feelings?
I thought the GNX was really cool, but I was sad to see that they just had a shelf one. That's probably, I think, was for me, was the coolest thing. I'm a car guy too.
Okay.
When I saw the GNX, I thought the whole entire production was pretty cool. I thought the street lights, they were LED
Right.
street lights that did different colors and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought the production was pretty cool. His music, I don't play a lot of it. Some people do request his songs here and there at some of the weddings, but mostly I don't play a lot of his music, but I know his music. I've heard his music.
Sure.
And, I thought for production wise, I thought it was very good. I thought he did a good job. It wasn't exciting per se, but I think it was pretty nice and easy and safe. And it was good to see, someone out there performing and, enjoying themselves. And that was the other thing is that
there's no
like
question.
He
Definitely, I give him credit. He was definitely enjoying himself. I mean, he definitely looked like a kid in a candy shop. I mean, he absolutely positively did. So, because I noticed that right away. I am probably in the minority that I'm a 50-year-old white guy that I loved the show. I thought it was great. I'm not a huge Kendrick Lamar. It's not fan. Not I shouldn't say that way. He's not on my regular rotation of playlist. I'm still an '80s hairband guy, but the fact of the matter is, I enjoyed the show. I love the choreographed dancers. I love the red, white, and blue stuff. And I know that we've talked about this till we're blue in the face kind of this whole week, which is just the way that it is. But the fact of the matter is I enjoyed it tremendously. I thought it was great. And that was that. And my biggest thing, and John Young can't spell KoKoruz. So John, you gotta edit this Marquee Show thing here, brother. I've only known you for 20 years. Anyhow, so I thought it was great. I know it's been a huge controversy. I would love to see it changed up a little bit. Maybe have some country. They said they haven't had a country artist on in I don't know, 15 years, something like that, and a rock. So maybe again we should change it up. The NFL should consider a few things for next year. I'd love to see Pink. Anybody you'd like to see?
If I was going again, I love the fact because I'm a Chicago freestyle fan. Love
Right.
freestyle, and when I heard "Lookout Weekend" from Debbie Deb,
Sure.
I was like, "Oh yes, here's some freestyle. I know it's a sample in this song and stuff like
Yeah.
that, But when I heard that, I was like, that was really cool. But I really feel that the Eminem one, that well, kind of retro,
Yeah.
late '90s, early 2000s kind of rap, that stuff was really cool. And for a guy who's up a little older, it was great to go back to my 20s and say, hey, there's some cool music. I would love to see that again, another touch of that, and they could probably make something
So who would you
modern
want to
artists,
pick?
older
Pick
artists.
pick the you're now the producer. Who would you want to invite?
Um, if I was going to go rock, I would probably ask Dave Grohl come in and have
Okay.
him get some guests in there. And I would actually like. I saw Paul McCartney at the in the audience. I'd love to see him on there too.
Okay.
Him and Dave up there playing guitar to a song they're both singing to.
Well, they're saying next year. I think it's in San Francisco and it's Metallica's backyard. So people are saying it'd be cool to see Metallica. I think that's a little bit on the rough side. Just like I think Kendrick Lamar was a little bit too specific genre, personally, for mainstream America. I'd love to see Pitbull. I think he'd put on an incredible show with some guests. I think he'd be fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Another one I would think is Post Malone. He's done a lot of crossovers with the country artists
Yeah,
this past, year. So I think like that he can ask those country artists to come in, so you get that crossover stuff, both the pop rap kind of feel with Post Malone with his hits, and you can go into some country hits as well with some of the crossovers and those country artists actually doing some of their own stuff too. So I think
gotcha.
you can have a very well rounded show if you really wanted to.
Sure. All right. So for those of you that are tuning in, we've got some people it looks like are watching, but come see us on Facebook, our Facebook page on Marquee Show, not the group page, but the actual page. And make sure you say hello. Mike Francis in the house. DJ Mix, loving it. Thanks for saying hello, or thanks for the thumbs up. So let us know that you're here. All right. So I don't know why, and I don't know if it's something new, but Lori Grenier has showed up in my TikTok feed and in my Reels feed, and she's just dropping nuggets like there's no tomorrow, and I'm absolutely loving it. And it's really for me been it's been a whole bunch of just marketing stuff. And the one thing she talked about this like about a week ago that's been in my crawl space is your USP. And so if you're not familiar with what a USP is, it's your unique selling position, proposition, what have you. So it got me thinking, and I started thinking like, let's you volunteered to kind of let me dissect your marketing a little bit and go to it. And so I'm going to ask you right now, what is TBM Productions USP? What is the secret sauce that you have?
Couple of things that we market ourselves differently than from many other DJ services is that one, my wife works with me, we're a husband and wife team. The other thing is that we're wedding exclusive service, so we don't try to concentrate on a club, bar, or etc. So it's one of the things I really feel that DJs should market themselves and show they're different from other DJs. Doesn't mean I'm a better DJ in any area, just means I market myself differently. And I try to talk to people about that when I'm marketing my product to that group. I want to showcase how I'm different from what someone else does. And one of the things is, you're talking about how you have that what Lori was talking about. You really have to showcase what you're capable of doing. And we try to do that. I'm not a marketing guru whatsoever. So I'm
Okay.
here also not only to give my 2 cents, but also to learn too from you and from anyone else have any positive things to add and give some suggestions. But it's very hard because marketing is so subjective sometimes, and to
Right.
have the right hit, it's very difficult. And that's why, it doesn't matter if you're doing a wedding show or if you're doing social media marketing or anything, you try to strike the right chords and you try to do the right things. And sometimes I don't know about you, but it feels like to me the goalpost moves all of a sudden. You think you're doing the right thing with this hashtag, and now the new hashtag is this, or the new item is that, and you're trying to trying to keep up, and you're trying to find out what is that new thing is going to make things have that motion for people to come toward you and book you as a, as business.
Right.
And I think that DJs sometimes they get trapped in the area of, hey, you know what, look at me. But it's not just look at me, it's look at how I'm marketed. What do people perceive me as? And that's perception is a key thing with anything I try to do. I try to make sure people perceive what we can do for them.
Okay, so now I'm going to call you out. Are you ready?
Go
I'm
ahead.
looking at your Facebook page. I'm looking at your header, and you said your USP is that you do weddings only and you're a husband and wife team. So the question I have for you is, will your Facebook cover page specifically promote your USP?
I hope so.
Well, is there a picture of you and your wife on there?
In there, I yeah, we should have a picture on there in
On your
pictures.
Facebook cover page, your
On the cover page,
headline,
no.
right. And it says wedding ceremony reception,
Hmm.
but it doesn't say specific. So your USP is not clearly presented, for example, in your marketing on your Facebook page. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if it's TBM Productions, you could have your husband and wife, a DJ team, specializing in only wedding ceremonies and receptions, and then it what do you call it? It reiterates your USP. Because if that's really what you believe that it is, okay, and I'm not dogging you, what I'm
No,
doing is
no.
trying to call you out to say, hey, is your marketing consistent with your USP? Okay. And I think there's a lot of people that don't even necessarily have a USP. And even though you're saying that's what it is now, I want you to like think about it for the next week and go, okay, is your USP, which is your unique sales, is it truly unique that you're a wedding only company? How many other DJs are wedding only? And to the consumer, is that really an advantage? Because I could play it either way. I could turn around and go, well, if all they do are weddings, how do they know what new music is possibly breaking in a bar or at a school that will transition? By the time they learn that music, it's already played out, and so the question is, can you specifically show the features, advantages, and benefits of your USP, when you say it? Is the fact that you and your wife working together a true benefit for the client, or is it just your comfort level because you two both love entertaining and you guys both love working with weddings, and it's more of a benefit for the two of you to be together than necessarily the client? So how does your USP benefit the client? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So so there's that. I also, looking at your Facebook page, you haven't posted since December 8th of 2024. Any
That
specific,
was our last event.
but is that all you can say is your events, or could you give tips, tricks? Could you be posting inspiration for music? Could you, for example, this past weekend, say, what did everyone think of the Kendrick Lamar halftime show? Because DJs are still music, could you be posting, music related things? Could you be, let me go to your website because I pulled it up. Meet the owners.
Now, on my
Okay.
website, we do have a picture of Tracy and I.
I see that, but in my opinion, if you love that picture, that should be maybe to the left of your Facebook page. Then drop your logo in the middle, and then come up with some sort of a catchy, thing like, if all we do our weddings, shouldn't we be doing yours, or something along those lines. So now you don't have a blog on here, um, and since you don't have a blog, uh, it's a little bit harder to introduce certain things. Um, yeah, because obviously, if you're writing a blog, you've now got a reason to post on your social media about whatever your blog is about. And let's face, how long have you been doing this now, buddy?
Oh, 2003, we started the business. So,
So 20 years at least. So in your 20 years, you've got to have a lot of different tips, ideas, things like that that you could share, even if it's just an example of here's a blog, or even if you're not going to do it as a blog, even if you're posting it just as a Facebook page, or you go into Canva and you make a graphic. Here's the top 10 most popular first dances. Here's the top 10 most popular father daughter dances. Here's the top 10 most popular ceremony things. You never know how someone's going to be judging you. And in my opinion, when it comes to social media, you say more with your absence than you do with your presence. And so if you haven't posted since December 8th, even a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or perhaps on Friday, Happy Valentine's Day. I know it's filler, but it's still important. It still shows that you are on top of your thing. And social media, buddy, is supposed to be social. It's not an infomercial for your company. It's a social thing. So talking about things you love about DJing, talking about things you love about weddings, giving people ideas that have nothing to do with DJing, such as like, check out this unbelievable 7 foot tall wedding cake, things like that, that a wedding couple comes across it and they go, oh my God, he's got such cool stuff on there. It reflects positively on you as well. Does that make sense?
oh yeah.
So, so there's
Like
that.
before, I'm here. I'm here to learn. So this
No,
is
I
all
get it.
very good
And
information, and
I'm
this is how
not
you
here to
grow.
beat you up
No,
either.
no. This
You
is how you
know,
grow as a business. This is how if you're not strong in something, and the thing is, marketing is not one of our strong suits. But the thing is that to learn and keep an open mind, going, okay, how can we correct this? I feel is a very important thing. How do we fix what we're doing? How we do things the right way to make things more consistent? And that's one of the things I'm one of the big things I'm hearing is not because we don't have the consistency of having constant information out there. And that's, again, that's something that, okay, we can start working on that and changing that.
yeah. And if it's a venue, for example, that you love working at, you can just be making it your shared venue of the week. We absolutely love the people at Acme Widget venue. John Doe and his staff are always great. You tag them in it. And again, it's just one of those things. You're saying thank you to a venue that may refer you, or trying to kiss a little butt to get in the door at that venue, to which everybody appreciates praise. So again, same thing was, we had the pleasure of working with Acme Widget Photography Studio 3 times this year, and John and his team are always unbelievable, and can't wait to work with you in 2025. Again, little things like that, everybody likes to be recognized. So these are things that social media shouldn't just be about, we worked it for John and Susie on Friday at the VFW hall, and here are some pictures of it. It should be more than that. And on that subject, let's go back to your Facebook page, for example. Here's the other thing I notice on here. You worked with other vendors, like, let's see, you were at the Concord Banquets, which, if you're not from Chicago, it's a beautiful banquet. Now, in here, you put at Concord Banquets, so you tried, but they probably are not that savvy when it comes to social media. Although no, they are. They should be pretty good at this. So you should have been able to tag them or connect them, unless you didn't. Did you do this in Instagram and then just let it migrate into Facebook?
I would have to ask Tracy. She's the one that usually does the social media part in this ad for taking the
Gotcha.
pictures and posting the pictures.
Sure.
Usually, I think if I remember correctly, we have it on Insta and then it migrates over
Yeah. The
to
only problem
Facebook,
with
which
that
is
is it doesn't always, it's two separate languages. Like hashtagging in Facebook is not nearly, people don't search hashtag whatever in Facebook, but they do on Instagram. And so you've got that you were at the Concord, but there's that. But like there's a cake in here that you could have tagged, and it looks like they wrapped the dance floor. I don't know who. I mean, you have nice decor in here, so there's obviously There was a florist or decor company here that did it because I see candles all over the back and some other stuff. Do you know who did the dance floor?
Uh, Off the top of my head, I would have to look at the paperwork if I remember
Right.
correct.
Oh, you even have
I'm gonna,
flowers above the dance floor. This is
yeah,
beautiful.
yep.
So again,
I
and
don't
you have a
want to
huge
yell a name out for a
picture.
company and be the wrong company.
I get it, but these are the types of things that should have been tagged, for sure, because again, this is definitely looks like it was an A-level wedding. So, yeah, you've got beautiful pictures of the cake and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of ways you could have really enhanced this. Is that April Burkowski on the harp? I can't see. It looks like her from
Uh,
Elegant Music, Elegant Ensembles.
I would have to
I
look
think
and
it
see.
is. See again, you've got a picture of you with the harpist there, but you didn't tag the harpist. So, and again, people remember being tagged. So, I mean, they remember it quite a bit.
Well, we can always post more pictures, and we have more pictures.
It's not a matter
We can
of
always post
necessarily
pictures and start
posting
adding
the
those people.
pictures. It's a matter of if you're gonna do it, go in 100%. Now, it looks like you did say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, but no Christmas and no New Year's. So it's about always being consistent in here too. So handmade tumblers, those are kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of rooms. And here, see, this one was done right. TBM is at Milburn Stables, October 19th, and you tagged them, and Milburn Stables said, "Thank you. We loved working with your incredibly talented team. Keep up the great work, and congratulations to the lovely bride and groom. They were stunning." See now that this is an A plus because you what do you call it? It worked exactly the way you wanted it to. Um, you tagged Parkway Banquets. I know Jerry really well as well. Glendale Lakes Golf Course. Boy, I haven't been there in 100 years. And again, not everyone's gonna hit it. So yeah, I mean, how sweet it is events. I think that's Eric Yeager, isn't it?
No, Taylor and Jordan.
Gotcha.
Love how sweet it is.
Okay. Because I think they had a similar name. But no, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's no question if you were to tweak this a little bit, and tag more of the vendors, you'd get more interaction, which is also what it's kind of about. So it's nice that your boy Darren Lee, who's a Chicago DJ as well. Hello, Darren, if you're watching, also showed you some love on here. So that part's fantastic as well. All right. Speaking of showing some love, where did I jumped off of it, I think. Let me jump back onto Facebook and see who else is tuning in to us tonight that may have a comment or a suggestion or something that I may have missed. And I know that Mike Francis had jumped on earlier. We got 6 comments already. Look at that. Look at that. Let me switch from my profile to the Marquee Show profile. And I said the Concord, which means John Caldas somehow got called into action because we know that him and Jimmy Vakos pretty much own that place. So John Caldas just got on. Did you say Concords? If so, probably Yanni. That could very well be. So Ray Hernandez said there's a lot of us that need help in marketing. Well, I could just share what I know, and if it's of benefit, then I hope that you learn from it and it makes you some cash and you give me 10%. No, I'm just kidding. And then Bernie Howard jumped on as well. However, I'm not seeing his comment for some odd reason. I don't know why, but yeah, no, it's a matter of tagging and going from there. And of course, I'm saying that as John, who set this up, didn't tag you or me or that in the live thing, but live and learn. So okay, so we chatted a little bit about social. We chatted about your USP, right? And now let's move on let's take a quick look at your website. And I'm not going to be looking at it from a SEO point of view, I'm certainly no genius when it comes to that. But looking at your website, it looks super nice and clean. Um, and this is the one thing I have to say that I can't stand about DJ's websites in general is, and it's not you, it's and you're not actually guilty of it. I've always said DJs fall into the same category, same trap. They have four pictures on every single website. A picture of them behind the DJ console, a picture of a romantic first dance, a picture of their DJ console up close, very club-like, and then an uplighting picture. And that seems to be the majority of it. Now, the thing that boggles my mind, and even in your case, what you don't have, what's the most important thing people hire a DJ for?
Well, usually it's for mu well, depends on what they look at, but usually to, facilitate the event,
And what do
one
they
way or
want to
another
see
with
happen at
music.
that event?
Well,
They
usually
want
dancing.
right. And you don't have any pictures of dancing on your page. And to me, one of the most important things is showing an absolutely jam-packed dance floor. So if they're looking at it and they go, this is, I mean, the trick is if you're a wedding couple, you're a 28-year-old bride, 31-year-old groom, what you're looking at is, I want my dance floor to be just as packed as
If you go to the gallery,
I'm not going to the gallery because I've already made a decision that because you've got a picture of it says your wedding DJ with old blurry equipment, you're not the guy for me. So again, it's that old adage, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So the impression you should make is one showing like we're gonna crush your dance floor. So, and I'm looking at the one now. You're at the Seville. I recognize the fabric treatments on the back wall.
yep.
Um, and again, this is an okay picture, but it's not a great picture. I'm looking at one guy, an old man with his arms crossed on the side, a bunch of kids dancing, and it's a good picture. I wouldn't make this a headline, and I don't know if I'd be using this necessarily as the be all end all picture. But it's not bad. And now that you've brought it up, this is the only picture. Oh, this looks like it's the only picture in your gallery.
You got to arrow over to left and
Oh, you
right.
got to click on it. See, that's not exactly laid out here. Now, are these pictures you took with your phone or are these professional
These are pictures we
pictures?
took. We try and get
Okay.
pictures from a professional photographer is a
It's
challenge to say the
challenging,
least most of them.
except for one thing. Why should they give you the pictures?
I always ask and I always tell them, put a watermark on it, and that way, again, it goes both ways for advertisement and they see the pictures. The photographer took the picture and then ones we took. So
Yeah. So
they're
it's a constant struggle for us with the floral company. But if you were to go to aberdeens.com and click on our blog page or our weddings of the week, you will see every single solitary photographer that we work with, as well as every venue and everyone that we've worked with that day that has given us the time of day. We will have a backlink to their website. And as you know, the more backlinks the more backlinks that are relevant within your industry itself, the stronger your SEO becomes. So, again, looking at this, I might forego this gallery and add a blog page talking about each wedding with pictures that you've taken, and then also add in pictures supplied by the photographer. And if the photographer knows that he or she's going to get a backlink to it, I'd be willing to bet they'd be a lot more willing to do it. Doesn't mean they're going to run to do it, but it means that they'll be more willing to do it. So, like, I'm looking at this picture. Do you supply this backdrop behind the head table, or was that just a
uh
picture of a head
which
table?
which can you talk about?
I'm on your gallery, and it looks there's a head table set up on a dance floor with maybe a 16-foot wide backdrop.
16-foot wide backdrop. To look which one is.
Well, I mean, do
No,
you
that is
supply
not. We
backdrops?
did not. We uplit. We didn't do the backdrop pipe and drapers from the facility.
Right. So let me ask you then, how does this photograph specifically And this should be the question you ask for every single thing you post on your page. How does this picture help sell your service? When a bride looks at this picture, or a mother of a bride or anyone, she looks at this and what exactly is she supposed to go, oh my God. And again, I'm not trying to bust your balls. I'm just trying to say, you know, a bride's only going to spend so much time on your website, your competitor's website. And if you're giving them eye candy that's making them go, oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is awesome. Then yeah. And this picture isn't necessarily awesome. You know, a bunch of these pictures, they're not necessarily awesome. And so if you have limited time, it's not necessarily awesome. Here's one at Metropolis Ballroom because I recognize the space. Complete with the swagged backdrop done by MDM Entertainment. And again, the big question is, if you go through these, what should a client take away from this that makes them want to go, Buddy's our guy? And if it's not crystal clear to you, it's certainly not going to be crystal clear to others. And so that's always my challenge to you and to everybody watching this. Let's see if anybody's agreeing with me on Facebook or if they're contradicting me or what have you. Very challenging to get pics from photographers, Ray Hernandez. I agree and I don't agree. There's no question that it's, nothing in life is easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But if you give the photographers a reason that they're going to get a backlink and you're going to post those pictures in their, on your social media and everything else and tag them and hashtag them, you'll be surprised. If you give people a reason to do something that's going to benefit them, they'll be far, far more. I wasn't on, so it said, man, that sounds off though. And I don't know what that is. We get paid. Oh, we get paid to give pleasure. Now I know what you mean by that. Yeah, that does sound a bit on the offside, but hey, DJ, Asian massage parlor, whatever works. So, John Calder says he met one, I'm assuming, photographer that has a vendor portal. That's pretty cool. I know that we have certain photographers that have actually granted us, because they trust us for the floral side, they've granted us like an admin styled username and password so that we can go in the minute that the pictures are posted, and then we can download those pictures because they trust that we're going to tag them, give them credit, and go from there. Rob Nipkin just jumped on. Happy 1 week anniversary of your engagement, Rob Nipkin, who's down in central Illinois right now for the IHSA cheerleading or dance something or other stuff. I don't know. He's in Bloomington, which he's in the middle of nowhere. And my boy Izzy's online too. Isidore, living on Cornelia in Chicago. See, I wish we had more of the country on. Chicago's well represented, but this could be all over the country. I don't get it. It's not like we're in Minnesota, like John Young. I mean, who's going to want to? There's nothing to do up there. There's plenty to do in Chicago, but Minnesota? All right. So we've kind of chopped already off at your stuff. Now, I know you've done a couple of, have you done any wedding shows this year? I know we did a few of them with you last year, but have you done any shows this year?
We've done one and we got 3 more coming up.
Okay. So
the show that the ones that you have,
yeah,
every single date you have, I looked at it. I have a gig on those dates. I'm like, they're on. It's like, oh, come on, Sundays, really? Yeah. It's like, oh, that's like.
But you know what? Even that, I'll tell you, I learned something this year. I've done 17 wedding shows since the first of the year, and every single one of them, Saturday, I had 1 2-day show, and then I had 2 shows. I had 3 shows on Saturdays. The rest were all on Sundays. The Saturday shows, actually, and even the Saturday of the 2 day show had better attendance than the Sunday show did. So perhaps for Windy City Wedding Show, we'll be looking at banquet hall or hotel availability on the Saturdays. And that way, too, vendors don't have to choose, do I do KC show or do I do Acme Widget show? And kind of go from there. You can do both and then really try to bring in as much money as you possibly can. So there's definitely a possibility there, but that's what I observed this year anyway. And I even thought maybe I could do a Super Bowl Saturday show next year because all the hotels will be dead as a doornail. No one's going to have an event that weekend. So perhaps that Saturday I'll get a very favorable I'll be able to get a very favorable rental rate and we'll kind of go from there. So that's that. All right,
And
we've got
I
about
will
10 minutes left before John jumps in. So going back to the shows. Okay, you go ahead and finish your idea and then I'll jump back in.
I was gonna say that I will say that your shows are very organized, and the quantity as well as the quality of brides is usually very good. And that's the big thing, is that when marketing, doesn't matter what wedding show, I always look at is how do I get the brides, how many brides come in, and how good are the clientele? Are they actually in the market, or are they tire kickers? And I will say that, you're one of the shows that we always have good luck with. There's a few other ones that do very well too. And to me, that's a big thing. It's where I'm going to put my money at on a wedding show. Is it going to be the Acme one? Is it going to be this one? It's going to be that one? And it doesn't matter what it is, it's return on investment. And I feel that's a big thing to look at, and how much money you're putting out and how much money you're getting back on those shows. And
Yeah,
that's a
but I'll
huge,
be
huge
honest,
thing.
I think the biggest thing with return on investment is your hustle. When you do a wedding show, you have to ask the show producer, how are you going to market it? Where am I going to see it? Um, and you have to also be looking. Like right now, I know there's a show that's going to happen. I think it's next weekend at Independence Grove,
Mm-hmm.
um, put on by Relish Events.
Mm-hmm.
I see it on Facebook. I've seen it on Eventbrite. I know that other shows have done it. And did you do Jerry's from Parkway Banquet Show?
Yep, I saw your booth at the
Yeah,
MCC.
right. So the fact of the matter is, I give him a lot of credit. I saw a lot of advertisement for it. However, perhaps because it was all the way out in McHenry, for those of you that aren't familiar with Chicago, it's about an hour northwest of Chicago, and it's kind of out there in the sticks. It didn't necessarily pull the largest attendance in the world, and that's okay as long as you get the quality time with the clients. However, the fact of the matter is, I saw the advertising. Okay. So when you interview show producers, there's that. Now, the biggest mistake that I find that a lot of wedding professionals make is they think that the race is over at 5 o'clock when the show's over. They've handed out their flyers like trick or treating candy, and now they just have to sit back and wait. And the reality is, that's when the race starts. All you've done now is get your car tuned, get it out on the track, and that's it. You still have to run that race, or you still have to drive that car around the track and beat out all of the other drivers. Okay. And that's where a lot of wedding vendors seem to make a huge mistake. As a show producer, we have to protect our lists. So we seed every single list with a fake name specific to each vendor. And I can tell you, 85% of all vendors in all categories never, ever use the list. They base the success or failure of that show on what they were able to cultivate in their booth within like a month or so of it. And if you know anything about the engagement cycle, like Sunday, we'll probably pick up a bunch of people that got engaged on Friday night because they're going to be excited, and the bride to be or the wedding couple in general is going to Google on Saturday, let's go to a wedding show. It's our rite of passage. And they're going to go running to that, and they're going to walk the show justifiably as an excited couple, but they're not ready to book your service. They may not be even ready to book a venue yet. So you need to then use, you know, your if they talk to you specifically, put it into your CRM and have them keep dripping over and over again. If you want to make phone calls to them once a month, do that. Get an idea of when they're looking at doing it. Use a broadcast email program like MailChimp or Constant Contact or NFlyer or I can't think of the one that Shannon Tarrant loves, but it's the beginning of the race, not the end of it. Okay. It's like buying a house. The fact of the matter is that that's the beginning of it. You know, you still have to paint it, you still have to furnish it, you still have to wallpaper, you have to rip out the old wallpaper, you got to do all of that stuff. So, so that's that. So we talked about wedding shows. Following up, the last thing that I'm going to really recommend is that you consider thinking about everything you know about the industry, and I think you should consider blogging about it. And the reason that I'm suggesting that, are people going to read your blog? A very small percentage will. But if you know anything about search engine optimization, they're going to tell you the more fresh content that you are putting on your page, the more that Google will look at you as an authority on a subject. And so if you want to consistently be putting out information about Chicago area weddings and you tag things the right way in your thing, it's something you should definitely look at. Do you know what your website's written in?
As far as what program it's written in,
Yeah. Is it like
whatever.
WordPress? Is it
No, it's not WordPress. No, no. It's through the website carrier.
the website carrier? You mean like a Wix or like a GoDaddy or something like that?
Yeah, the company that supports our website, it's through them. It's proprietary
Okay.
to them.
That I'm going to guess if you were to reach out to them tomorrow and say, how do I add a blog to this? It's going to be remarkably easy for you to add a blog. And then again, you have to look and see where you can put in your search terms and everything else. And again, it's not something you don't have to blog every single day. It's not like that. You're not that interesting. You're not a newspaper columnist. But I think that adding even 2 times a month or once a month something, even if you're doing a wedding recap as one of them, and then you talk about one topic, boom, right away, you've got right there, you've got 24 blogs, right? Then you want to turn around and let's say Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Christmas, you put together song lists. That's another four right then and there. Just talking about seasonal music that way. Add in a fifth one for your favorite summertime playlist. So now you went from 24 to 29. Now you're putting out a blog every single what do you call it? Every single, every other week. You're 52 weeks in a year. That's 26. You're already at 29. So you're there every other week. Now add in some things that you can regurgitate every year. The history of the wedding cake, the history of a wedding veil, dot, 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 or do a vendor spotlight for your favorite photographer, venue, whatever. It's not as hard as you may think to put out blogs that way and keep putting it out. So just my 2 cents. And that brings us at 8:43, and John said we have to be done at 8:45 because he's got to watch reruns of Starsky and Hutch. John, are you on here?
Yep.
All right.
And there's, Starsky and Hutch. Hello.
Right. So, so for those of you that are coming out to the MEX show next week, I hope that you will make the time to stop by and try to register to win a bunch of cool lights and say hello to yours truly. I'm looking forward to seeing so many people out there. This year, I'm being blessed to be inducted into the MEX Hall of Fame. So kind of excited about that. I believe that's on Monday, along with my brothers and sisters. There's 10 of us being inducted, and I think at least 8 of them will be there. So that's excited. I'm excited that our names are on the actual trophies, not like the paperweight that you got a couple of years ago, John. But I mean, did you even get it? Because you didn't even show up for the thing. Did they
Yeah,
mail it to you, or did you
actu-
just leave it at the South Point? You want me to pick it up for you when I'm
Actually,
there?
Ben Stowe picked it up for me, and he mailed it to me.
Well, that's very nice
That
of
was
him.
nice of him.
Very good. He's a good guy. You
Yeah.
should have told him it's missing the Evolve 70s
Yes.
that come with it. So, So yes, and just so everyone's aware, I will be broadcasting next week from my hotel room or the men's room or my booth. We'll figure that out. But we'll be broadcasting from the South Point, which will be 6 o'clock South Point time, 8 o'clock this time, 9 o'clock for those of you staying up late on the West Coast, on the East Coast. So that's it. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks to my Chicago loyal DJ brothers and sisters, and thank you, buddy, for letting me kind of, give you your marketing a colonoscopy, and hope it wasn't too painful for you.
Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. All right, guys. Thank you. Good night. God bless. We'll see you next week.